Hey y'all, welcome back for another flip video. Today we're going to be talking about the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment was mainly this time that followed the Renaissance, in which people started using the logic from the Renaissance and the scientific revolution to start questioning society and all the different government stuff and politics, and they started questioning their leaders mostly. The objectives that we're going to cover in this video are: what essential question, what new views did Enlightenment philosophers have about society and politics? And Golden Hawk historians will evaluate the impact of the Enlightenment on society, socially and politically. While you're watching, make sure that you're taking good notes in either Cornell or outline format, as we've talked about in class. It's okay if you have to pause or rewind the video to make sure that you're taking good notes. The scientific revolution had convinced many European thinkers about the power of reason and its ability to be used to solve all human problems. This time period became known as the Enlightenment, or the Age of Reason, mainly because scientists were using reason and philosophers started using reason to question all different parts of society. Many thinkers were eager to promote the new ideas, and so many wealthy Parisian women began hosting social gatherings, what they called salons, in which they brought together philosophers, artists, scientists, and writers regularly to discuss their ideas. The key ideas of the Enlightenment were: the ability to reason is what makes humans unique. No other person could do reason or logic like humans can. Reason can be used to solve problems and improve people's lives. This stemmed not only from scientific problems, but also into social issues about poverty, government issues about the role of government, and other ideas like that. Reason can free people from ignorance, superstition, and unfair government. People began to question the role of government in people's lives, and the people's lives in the role of government. The natural world is governed by laws that can be discovered through reason, and like the natural world, human behavior is also governed by natural laws. They began to see human behavior as a part of science. Government should reflect natural laws and encourage education and debate. It became now the role of government to educate society, and also the role of people to debate the role of government. There's main Enlightenment thinkers were from England. Thomas Hobbes wrote in his book The Leviathan that people needed government in order to impose order. He argued, though, that the order should be set up by a social contract. He argued that people give up their freedoms in exchange for peace, safety, and order. If the government did not give those things, then they had the right to revolt. The English philosopher John Locke believed that people were naturally happy, tolerant, and reasonable. He's where we get that idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But he said life, liberty, and property. The Americans just changed it to include happiness. Locke believed that the purpose of government was to protect people's natural rights, even if they did not, people had the right to a revolt. Jean-Jacques Rousseau believed that people were born good and that society overall corrupted people. The government should work for the common good of the citizens, even if that meant that people gave up some rights to benefit the community as a whole. Everyone is working together toward the same goal. He believed that all people were equal and should be recognized as equal in society. Baron de Montesquieu argued that the best form of government included a separation of powers that would prevent any individual or group from abusing its power. He set up the system of checks and balances in which the government is divided into branches. This ensured that not one branch had more power than the other one, and that the powers would be checked by the others. Mary Arouet wrote under the name Voltaire, and she attacked injustice wherever she saw it, among the nobility, in the government, and in the church. Denis Diderot was the first to compile all human knowledge into a single work, the Encyclopedia. This really emphasized that Renaissance thinking. The work explained new ideas about art, science, government, and religion, and compiled them into one book. The Encyclopedia helped to spread the Enlightenment knowledge across Europe. Mary Wollstonecraft rejected the common view that women's roles were as wives and mothers. She was the first to start demanding equal rights for women, especially in education, arguing that if women had an equal education, they would have an equal standing in society. The economist Adam Smith also used reason and logic from the Enlightenment to analyze economic systems. In his book, Wealth of Nations, Smith argued that business activity should take place in a free market. This became known as laissez-faire economics, or an economic system that worked without government regulation. This is also known as hands-off economics, when the government plays no role in the economy. Many of the Enlightenment ideas had inspired monarchs to start developing systems of government in which they ruled according to Enlightenment ideas. They became known as enlightened despots. Frederick II, the King of Prussia, believed that his duty was to rule with absolute power in order to build Prussia's strength. But he also enacted many reforms, setting up a system of elementary education for children, abolishing torture, and supporting many forms of religious tolerance. This became known as Enlightenment because the logic was that all people were created equal. Catherine II of Russia dreamed of establishing order and justice in Russia while supporting education and culture. She also drafted a Russian constitution that limited the powers of the monarch and set up rights of the people and a code of laws, but they were never put into place. Make sure that you read back over your notes and you have all the necessary vocabulary. Thanks for joining me for this video, and I'll see you in class.